shoot. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Salty Show. I'm your co-host, Timmy Two Times in the house. Hello, Jeremy. How are you today?
I'm back. Hello.
I announced Jeremy first, but you always go first. Oh, Heidi's back, I guess.
Hello. This is Heidi.
Hey, everybody. This is Jeremy, and welcome to our world.
Hi, Saul.
Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Welcome back.
Timmy's a little flat today.
Tim's out of control.
I know.
All right, folks. On this episode of The Salty Show, the narrative is unraveling, and we're here for that. We're going to talk about some of the shit that's been happening this week. Also, Biden continues his GAF tour. We're going to cover the latest on that. You guys got to see his latest one. Talking to a daughter of a veteran. This dude is sick, bro. Oh God, this video is gonna piss you off, especially because of the weekend that we're coming up against, and the special day that's coming. So this is really bad. I think he's doing more to move, for the elections coming around than any Republican is. Biden is the guy. We want him on our ticket for the next round, I guess. All right, it's Memorial Weekend. Take a moment to honor the fallen, because freedom isn't free, folks. We're going to cover all that and more on this episode of The Salty Show. The
Salty Show.com.
So what's freedom? What's freedom?
What's freedom?
You use that big word. What is freedom?
Freedom. Liberty.
Do we still live in a country that values freedom and pursuit of happiness?
Values it? No, I don't think we value it.
Do we have
anymore.
any of that left in this country anymore? Besides,
there's
people that stay in their house and talk about it.
There are a lot of people out there that believe in freedom and love freedom and will fight to the death for freedom.
Where are those people?
They're actually in their basements right now cleaning their guns. I think is probably where they're at.
Yes, sir.
I mean, besides them going to work and not collecting a check.
Yeah.
Where's this freedom? Because
it's there
every day.
You just have to take it. You can't let someone take it away from you.
Yeah. So I've got a great question on how to ask that, because the last time I went grocery shopping was the weekend before Easter. So over 2 months ago.
Jesus, what'd you buy?
It's bad. No, we've been hurt in the past couple of weeks. So anyways, so I went to catch up and do some of that grocery shopping. Guys, I am astonished. Our bill. Yeah. The first time I went, because it actually blocked me from buying all of my groceries because of what my bill was. Mm-hmm. My normal grocery shopping stuff. I didn't buy a whole bunch of extra shit. It was double what we usually buy. It cut me off at $750. It was like, you're going to have to check out and come back.
If you've been here for the last couple of weeks, we've been talking.
I know, I'm sure. I've heard it, and I've been I've heard about it, but I haven't witnessed it because we haven't gone shopping. We've been since the water damage in the house, we're just doing as much as we can with what we have. But I'm sick of buying dinners and buying lunches because we haven't gone grocery shopping. So I said, well, I'm just going to go and bite the bullet and take care of it. I was floored at how bad it truly has gotten. I've heard it, but I hadn't firsthand experienced it. Twice as much to do our normal grocery shopping. Yeah. I'm just like, holy shit. But that's okay, because in the meantime, I was listening to a thing through the Weather Channel. They give you news updates and alerts. It's the only news update or alert I get. And they're pretty still progressive, not quite as progressive as some of the other companies, but and their update today that they were telling me about as I was in the middle of doing all this was the original first people that were tested positive and survived COVID a year and a half ago. They're still carrying the antibodies. So they're not worried about them getting the vaccines or recatching the Wuhan.
This is what we're going to talk about.
The human bodies fight off immunity.
Yeah, it's building the antibodies.
Isn't that
Isn't that something else?
So that's part of the unraveling.
Yeah.
About.
So but to Jeremy's point, I mean, the bodies had millions of years of practice at doing this, and we are. But trust the science, folks. Trust the science that last year was no mask, and then 2 months later it was masks, and then it was two masks, and now it's
just like Just like everything else that China makes, right? The Wuhan virus lasts for about a year and a half, and then it piddles out on you.
Yeah.
So, there you
Just
go.
outside
Made
of the
in China.
warranty.
They should just
Hey.
stamp made in China.
Hey, that
it
lasted
breaks
longer
into
than
the
most
warranty.
shit
Exactly.
China produces.
It lasted just enough for the warranty to expire.
Yes.
The
Yes.
1 year warranty expired on it, so
Yeah.
now it's like,
Sure.
okay.
You know, to your point, you know, the bodies, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, you bring up a good point. Our bodies have been doing this, you know, forever. Like that's what they're designed to do.
From the day
And
thousands of years.
everybody last year
Dawn
was
of time.
told, no, your body can't do that anymore. You
What?
need to suppress everything in your body by wearing a mask, breathing in carbon dioxide, stay inside, don't look at the sun because, you know, COVID might go around the block into the flower that you walk past and jump right out at you into your nose, and then you would go give it to grandma. So you need to stay home. So everything we knew up until
Yeah.
then was all bullshit.
Wasn't that the biggest line of bullshit? Is that, and they reverted it all back to, you're going to kill grandma. You're going to kill grandma. The
Yeah.
kids
Yeah.
are going to go
Anyway,
to
so
school.
you can't.
They're going to get it from their friend. They're going to go home and they're going to kill grandma.
In the
Because they
meantime,
knew-
Cuckmo in New York was killing grandma
They
for you.
knew goddamn well that it did not kill kids and it did not kill adults without, you know, certain conditions, pre-existing conditions. They knew that goddamn well. So they marketed the whole thing as these kids are going to come home and kill grandma.
Yeah.
It's like, you assholes, you fucking assholes.
And not only that, I mean, they also, because there was a lot of people who objected, right? A lot of people objected to this. The president, you know, at a certain point, he just had enough of it. But they were controlling what could get out there. And I think to me that's the scariest part, right? If you're scared and you know the getting the vaccine makes you feel you know, secure, whatever, do whatever you want to do to your body. It's your body. But at least have the truth or have the other side. The problem during this whole time was that nobody could present their other side. And that to me is the scariest part about it. Candace Owens was throwing a lot of tweets out today, man. She was going off. She's been going off on Facebook about the Facebook censorship that's happening. Because they're still doing it. Even though Facebook came out and said, oh, no, we're not going to. They are. They're censoring any opposition, any hesitation that people have to taking the vaccine. They are suppressing, you know, the other side. So for the left, they love it. They love the censorship. They're like, well, of course we have to censor this because, you know, people, you know, science. Okay. Today, those people are on your side. Tomorrow, those people won't be. And that much power should scare you because they wield a lot of power. Yeah.
They're not on your side now. You know, all these people are getting this vaccine. They're signing this paperwork away and people are dying and people are getting sick and it's not working. And we don't even have any idea how bad the ramifications are going to be down the road. And the problem is you're signing release forms admitting that you whether you know it or not, because you're not reading the paperwork, you're just signing it away, that you can't go back after anybody when you start really, really, really getting the side effects of this, when it really starts to impact you, when you're dying, when you're sick with diseases that you can't be cured of, because that's what's coming. It's already started. I mean, what was the last count that we know of people that died from it? It's happening. It's going to happen.
I heard, and this is in your field, Heidi, insurance. I heard that people who died after they've taken the COVID vaccine and then try to, you know, collect on life insurance because it's not FDA approved, their life insurance doesn't kick in. I don't know how true that is, but I'm telling you, that's what I heard. And I'm like, see, people should be made aware of that before they take this shot, because there have been people who have died from this. This is I'm not making this up. There are people who have died after taking the vaccine. The vaccine caused their death. Now those people,
my understanding is that's company by company, and it depends on the fine print in your life insurance policy that you've purchased.
Still,
That'd be something good to know.
So right.
Would it be a good recommendation to tell anybody who is thinking about getting the vaccine to contact their insurance agent if they have a life insurance policy? To call their insurance agent and go, hey, if I get this, will I lose my insurance? Because there's no point in continuing. If you were to get vaccinated, if I had a life insurance policy XYZ insurance company. I get the vaccination, and then down the road, I hear about some companies may not cover it, and I go to XYZ and go, hey, if I get this vaccine, am I covered? If I die, am I covered? And if it's saying no, what's the point of continuing to pay for that life insurance policy? Because they can come back at any time and go, oh, well, you got the vaccination 10 years ago and you died from that, so we're not covering your death. So why pay for it at that point?
So, right? And again, it depends on the company. And you could tell, here's the thing. I've talked to a lot of people that have gotten this vaccine. People that are Republicans, people that are Democrats, people that are conservatives, people that are progressives. And I say all 4 of those things because there are still all those 4 things out there as far as a political view goes. And they don't care. They are truly scared of dying. And I mean, they are truly scared of dying because of what they are being told. And a couple of them, I even asked, I said, hey, do you get your flu shot every year? They're like, no. I said, do you make sure your tetanus shot is done every 10 years? Do you make sure, like, all these other vaccines that are out there that you're supposed to do, are you doing those on a regular basis? Well, no. And I've asked point blank, so then why did you decide to do COVID? Because I'm scared of dying. Because I've seen this family member go through COVID and saw how bad it was for them for the 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or in some cases 8 to 12 weeks. And I'm just scared of experiencing and going through that. And so they got the COVID shot. And I mean, and look, I don't criticize them. It's to your point. Hey, it's each your own. You got to do what you got to do. I've met a lot of people who got the shot and were immediately sick and with COVID, positive with COVID. And I know people who got sick right after the shot and they said, oh, well, it's side effects of the shot, never got tested, exposed other people. In my own family, this happened, exposed to other people. And I'm telling you right now, I fully wholeheartedly believe that they gave the COVID to my family members that really struggled, came through it okay, but were sick. So it's hard. You don't know who to believe. You don't know who to trust. We all have our own opinions and we all have to do what we have to do. I mean,
to me, it always goes back to, because they called it, every time you turn on the news, they labeled it as a pandemic, right? That was the word they were using, folks, pandemic. Now, if we look at historical pandemics, exactly. If we look at those historical pandemics, this is not even come nowhere near that. And if you were really scared of dying, that something was going to kill you, look at everything else that's leading causes of death, right? Heart disease. We joked about this a few episodes ago. Where New York was giving people fucking a Happy Meal to get the shot, and it's like you get the shot and we'll give you diabetes and fucking heart disease.
Heart,
You know what I mean? Like, and so there's no logic to this. There isn't.
And the people I've talked to, you're right. They're doing something else. They got the vaccine. Like I said, they don't do any of the other vaccines. They are overweight. They are fighting other things. They are doing other things because of lifestyle choices. But yet I'm terrified of dying of COVID. And it's heartbreaking because it doesn't matter what you say to people. I could tell them all day long, go check with your life insurance policy.
A lot of people, though, nobody ever wants to address their real problem. So they see this COVID thing, go, oh, this is going to save my life from everything else. Like, no, you still have to, if you're overweight, you still got to diet, exercise, and take your diabetes medicine. You know what I mean? It doesn't change.
It's their get out of jail free card. They think it's the get out of jail. Yeah.
And I've said this 1,000 times. If this is a real pandemic, 1 out of every 5 that got this will be dropping down dead.
Right.
500. They keep saying 500 plus thousand died. It's funny how that number has slowly stopped. Where they keep saying like the 500,622. It's been like 600,022 for weeks now. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not because of the vaccines. They just stopped counting it.
So they stopped counting it, especially because the people that are dying had the vaccine, are getting COVID, and they're dying.
Right. So they changed their narrative. But what's interesting is everybody that was dying from quote unquote COVID, if you look at their long list of shit, right? Guy dies in a motorcycle accident in Florida. Oh, COVID. No. That's not a COVID related death. Yeah. He might have had COVID antibodies. So you could be having a heart attack, but it's COVID. What?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Like,
I think
you can't trust these numbers.
Yeah, those numbers.
And it's only 500,000. 500,000 every year. 2 million people die a year. 500,000. That's part of the 2 million that die every year.
Exactly.
Like less people died last year than they
Right.
did.
Well, Saul was going to bring up a point. Go ahead, Saul.
Yeah. So, Jeremy has said this before in the past, which is, if this is a real pandemic, you don't have to convince people of a vaccine. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, there's no, people would be getting it. You don't need to convince them. And look, I saw this news report. This is how you know it's not a pandemic, folks, because they're trying to lure you in. It's like, I just feel like when I watch these people, these experts, these scientists, and they're doing this shit, to me, it's like that creepy guy in a van offering kids ice cream. Come here, kid. That to me, this is how exactly it is. And let me show you this video right here. This is how desperate they are to convince you to get a vaccine to the pandemic of the century. Okay?
So
watch. Yeah.
Creepy guys in a van that like ice cream. So Dr. Fauci and Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Like the
Exactly.
two creepiest guys in America right now leading this country are the guys driving the van trying to sell you.
Let me show you this.
Yeah.
Because
Okay, I got that. Okay, got that.
Day, and you can get free dances from a local strip club.
Today, you can tell your loved one, hey, honey, I'm going to the strip club, and she might not divorce you. And here's why. From 4 to 7, you can come here and get your COVID shot, and then all kinds of other perks. All kinds of other perks. So
Does
here
it
I
come with a
am.
blowjob?
I'm right outside Larry Flint's Hustler Club. Again, from 4 to 7, you can come out here and either get the Pfizer shot or the Johnson &
Las
Johnson
Vegas.
shot. You must be 21 or older, and you must not have received any other.
Oh, you gotta be 21 and over.
this is not parody. This is not parody. This is real life, guys. This is how desperate
So the
they
Hustler Club in Las Vegas, if you come in between 4 and 7 and get a vaccination, or either the Pfizer or the Johnson & Johnson shot, they'll give you a free lap dance. Is that?
I want my fucking free steak. I want the steak from the strip club. You know what I mean? The buffet. Fuck that shit.
Served on a nude woman.
Yeah.
That would burn.
Hey, you're not going to get COVID.
That's Moscato
wait a
Punani.
minute.
She
you're
would
not
yell
gonna,
you.
Wait,
Be careful with that steak knife.
Hold on. You're not going to get COVID, but you're going to get syphilis.
I'm gonna get poison, food poisoning.
Yeah.
Talking about meat curtains.
For herpes.
Sorry, go down. Jeremy's face.
Pescado Punani.
Well, you know what? Tim's getting to that point where he is at that desperate situation.
Hey, you know what?
He's gonna get.
I don't
Give me the
give a
COVID.
fuck. Hey, just spit COVID in my mouth.
Syphilis, baby, syphilis.
We all need
Spit
to.
in my mouth, bitch.
I suggest everybody walks to their local or goes to their local Walmart, and as you walk in, just lick the door handle.
Oh my God.
Stop.
Everything will be fine.
I'd rather lick my ass
Really?
than lick that doorknob.
I don't know.
Jesus,
I know what
that's
comes out
aggressive.
of my ass.
Oh
That
God.
is
Anyway,
All right.
we derailed,
All right.
derailed, back on track,
Let's get back on track. So, okay,
Oh my God.
talking about, unreliable sources. Again, if they lie to you about this, folks, they're lying to you about everything. So let's get down to this. The narrative is unraveling. Now, I want to show you this because, again, I'm on TikTok, I'm on social media, I'm watching a lot of what's trending, a lot of what's out there. And one of the things that I'm seeing, again, this is a consensus. A lot of people are realizing, I'm going to call it Biden buyer's remorse. A lot of people are coming out saying, I regret doing this. Now, and what I'm going to show you here, talking about creepy people selling, giving ice cream to children. All this is freaking
Wait, what?
interconnected. Let me show you this. This is the press asking the president the difficult questions, guys.
What's
Watch
your
this
favorite
shit.
flavor of ice cream?
Mr. President, what did you order?
Chocolate chip.
What ice cream did you order?
Oh,
man?
yes, those hard hitting questions. Mr. President.
Now, if you compare,
Fucking
inflation's
Trump, man. They were,
rampant.
trying to scream. I'd be like, "You fucking asshole!"
no, I'm going to show you.
Just walked out.
I'm going to show you. There was. You know what? I'm not going to. I'm just going to tell you what happened. And somebody was, again, people who are regretful that they voted for Biden. This girl who posted this says, you know what? I didn't realize about the choice that I had made until everything started falling apart. You know, gas going up, like Heidi said, the price of groceries going up, everything's going up, skyrocketing. And so she says, and I turn on the news to see what they're asking this goddamn motherfucker. And that's the question that they ask him. President Biden, what question? And then she posts this video where she shows one of the reporters asking President Trump, Mr. President, are you a racist? You remember that question? That's what they asked.
Do you have that video? Do you have that video?
Let me show you. So I have a couple of videos of this. All right.
I like these videos because people need to hear
this
about
this is just the individual
it's only
video.
Conservatives that
this is again the reporters asking Trump a serious this question. Keep in mind the question that they just asked Biden.
Mr. President, are you a racist? Mr. President, what did you order? Chocolate chip. Oh, yeah. Chocolate chip.
So,
Are you a racist?
there you go. So side by side comparison of the questions that they're asking Biden and the questions that they asked Trump. The media that you are listening to today is not going to give you the truth. They are going to carry Biden's water. Yeah.
Do you know the question what question do you want them to ask Biden the most?
None, because
what year is it?
Well, no, but
Do you know
who you are?
I would ask him questions like that. But if you ask him, did your son Hunter do it? No, he's the smartest man I know. He didn't smoke meth and he didn't get his teeth cleaned and I didn't go to dinners with everything that came out. He just says, no, okay, we believe you. Yeah. Hey, President Biden, is there a crisis? No, there's no crisis at the border. There's just a lot of migrant children coming over without adults with coyotes, but it's not a crisis because they are escaping climate change.
Is Wiley with them? Wiley?
You know,
the
like,
Roadrunner?
You got to remember,
Coyote.
he's a career politician.
Yeah.
He's a career politician that has skated by for 47 years, never answering a single goddamn question. Even when he got caught cheating, he still stayed in the Senate. He still somehow won this presidency. He was a vice president.
So there you go.
They don't get rid of him.
Saul, what question would you ask him if you were a reporter and had access to
Are you going to die soon? That's what I would ask him.
You know what? I mean, if you're being serious, how are you going to turn this around? Like, but a serious question, like, how do you turn this shit around?
Sure,
but again, like Tim says, you've been there for goddamn 47 years. Okay, he's been there for fucking 47 years. There's no. I mean, I wouldn't be a fair reporter, to be honest with you. Because to me, I'm just.
But here's the deal. But to that point, he asked him a fair question. What are you going to do to fix this? Well, look at my history. I got $6 trillion bill for infrastructure spending that the Republicans don't want to pass. I passed the American relief package for $2 trillion. I did this, but the Republicans don't want to play ball, and this is the only way we're going to get the economy back in. What about the unemployment benefit? No. We got to leave those people staying at home because they are afraid they're going to die of COVID. What? Put everybody back to work with those 10 million jobs before you spend $6 trillion to fix shit.
Okay.
Right.
Go fix a bridge that's got a crack in it, but don't talk about, we got to fix everything because it's all shit. No, you got 10 million jobs that people can't fill.
So you talk about these infrastructure improvements, which I understand, right? The country has infrastructure and it is in decay. And I understand that it needs to get repaired and replaced or whatever. But at this point in our history, the country's history, building and construction material and equipment is the highest it's ever been. Mm-hmm. I'm remodeling a master bedroom right now.
Oh.
The price of a piece of plywood has quadrupled in the last 4 months.
But it went from $12 a sheet to $80 a sheet.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
His $6 trillion plan, though, is going to keep that inflation going up even higher, but it's going to fix everything.
No, it's not. It's not going to fix
inflation. It's going to.
So not only is it not going to fix what he says is going to fix, it's going to, even if you were to realistically have done it 4 years ago, that $10 million, you're going to get about $4 million worth of actual stuff out of it now because the price of everything is skyrocketing. You can't find contractors. It took them 2.5 weeks to get somebody out to our house to pour concrete. 2.5 weeks. For every time you bring a contractor in, you have to schedule them 2.5 weeks, whatever, ahead of time for them to show up at your house and do something. How are you going to get those contractors to drive out to the middle of BFE to repair a concrete road when they can make double that money staying in their neighborhoods, fixing the houses in their neighborhood? How are you going to get them to do that?
Exactly. I know how.
You know how you do that? You pay them twice as much.
Well,
Great. So now your $10 million is now $5 million.
You know those people.
Oh, and the material that you're buying? Oh, that's twice as much. So now your $5 million is actually $2.5 million. And then the government's involved, so that the original $10 million, when you're all said and done, boils down to being about $1 million worth of actual infrastructural improvement.
Right. And
this is stupid.
All those 10 million kids that just came over the border, who do you think's gonna be laying the concrete?
I don't know. But yeah.
Oh, there's no work.
So
there's workers.
Heidi's. What would you ask Biden?
How big's your dick?
Jesus, no. I mean,
you don't know?
There's too many questions to narrow down to one.
So
right?
I guess.
I mean, what was he thinking? What?
Oh, he wasn't thinking. Have you seen him?
Exactly.
So somebody else is thinking for him.
What's the last? What are they telling you now in your ear, Joe?
Yeah. What's your earpiece telling you?
What's your earpiece telling
you
now, Joe?
One of the questions that I would love to ask him is, with all of these election audits that are going on, if they come back and prove that you did not win this race, will you go quietly?
No.
Look fat.
Will you resign your position and leave?
That's how he would answer you. That's how he would answer you.
Lying dog face pony.
You lying dog face pony soldier.
What?
Look, here's what I'm going to say.
Here's the deal. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Going back to the hard hitting questions, they treat him like a freaking child. You know what I mean? Like, hey, Biden, what ice cream do you have? Oh, here you go, Joey boy. Good job. That's how they're treating him. It's with gloves, like kid gloves.
And okay, so pat him on the head.
But again, this guy, he's unraveling. He's not a serious candidate. And to the point of the narrative is unraveling. He's doing more for the Republican Party than any of the Republicans today, right? Because the Republican Party voted on whether or not they were going to have a January 6th, committee to look into this. And the Republican Party, thankfully, they stopped it and voted no. But there were some Republicans who voted yes for this bullshit, which angers me. We'll get to that. But one thing I didn't want to say, Tim sends me this article, and I think this is a huge deal. And it's a good sign. So the founder, you guys remember the founder of Black Lives Matter? She had bought a freaking $1 million home. This freaking Marxist communist. And she's been forced to resign from BLM after the backlash for that home that she purchased, which is a good sign. That's a good thing. To me, that's a win. And look, somebody else is going to take her place, but at least people are waking up and realizing BLM just used the plight of the black people, quote unquote.
Suckers,
exactly.
You fell for a hook, line, and sinker.
There's a difference,
idiots.
So there is a true difference between the statement and the corporation. That's a 503c or whatever it is. That nonprofit organization. That nonprofit organization is dangerous. The actual term and what people that don't relate to them feel is completely different. The BLM organization, that's dangerous shit. It's completely dangerous. It's two separate things.
I would argue that
it's two separate things.
Well,
the BLM
Tim,
and
you know why? You know why they're not,
Jeremy?
Tim, you know why they wouldn't be the same? Because I wonder if you would say the same thing about a group that says White Lives Matter. And I guarantee you,
or Blue Lives Matter.
Oh, exactly. Because people who say, well, no, you know what? Let's not look at the group. Let's look at, these organizations. Well, would you feel the same about a group that said White Lives Matter? A group that puts the race, something that goes completely against what Martin Luther King stood for, which was not color of skin. It was character. It was how are you as an individual? I could give a shit about what your color is. How do you behave as a human being, your character? That's what should matter. Care what your color is. So any group that rises, white power, that's how stupid it should sound. And that's how stupid Black Lives Matter. The idea is, I'm not gonna say, oh yeah, the group is okay. No, stop it.
I would not agree with
black
that.
people who live in America today would have not had it better in history, and even in modern world today. There is no better country to live at and be a minority than this beautiful country. And anybody else who says otherwise, fuck you. I don't like your organization and you stand for shit. Done. I'm done.
Well,
I'm done.
So
I'm
speaking
done.
of that, did you see? There was a awesome thing. As much as we all clown about the people coming, people illegally coming over, a lot of people coming from Venezuela right now, and they are escaping communism, right? So but hold on. So they actually interviewed him, Jorge Ventura, because he's down right at the border. That guy's actually doing some really good reporting down there, and I think it's Jorge Ventura.
I don't know.
It's something. Anyway, he asked the guy, he goes, "What do you have to say for people in America that want socialism?" He goes, "I came here." He says this, "I came here with my wife and my kid to cross the Rio Grande with a backpack on my back and left everything to get away from that." He goes, "If this is what they want, they should leave this country now." I was like, "Hey, can we swap? Can we give you citizenship and get them out?"
Yeah,
that could be the silver lining. The Democrats are thinking that this might backfire on them, and I hope so, because you're not going to meet a more conservative. And Tim was with me. We were out in Miami. We were out in Miami. We're with a friend of ours who, and the guy was a black gentleman, Cuban, and not that guy. I don't think he was black, but he was.
He was
Cuban.
a straight Cuban.
But he was straight up Cuban, and he said, he was the biggest Trump supporter that I had met, and most Cubans are that way. Most Cubans are that way. They're like, no. So he says, we understand how the Democrats talk. We heard this talk 50 years ago. It's the same playbook. It's the same bullshit. So, and that's what he said. I'm not, Tim will tell you, he even said it's stronger than how I'm saying it. And a lot of Cubans are this way. They fled that bullshit. So you better believe that those people are not going to allow this country to fall.
It's their kids though that love the socialism. That was the problem.
The kids in Cuba?
The kids of those people. So all the Cubans that, a lot of the refugees that came here, now they started having kids. Those kids have been Americanized.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And they think it's great.
Well, because that's what they were told in school and all that. They've been indoctrinated through the bullshit.
Problem number one, get rid of schools.
Parents are not involved enough.
So I have a question about the Cuba, right? So I know that in the past, at least, if you were a Cuban citizen and you made it to American soil, you were immediately given
amnesty,
asylum, and you could become an American citizen, right? Because Cuba was communist, and we wanted those people who didn't like communism to come to our country. Venezuela is communist, right? They're injecting communist ideas into their people. They're coming to our border. Should we be doing the same thing? If you come here from Venezuela, you get on American soil, should we just say, okay,
well, they're doing it
if
for
you
everybody.
want, you're now an American citizen. You can, do what you want.
Anybody that comes over, they're basically saying, "Here you go." Yeah, I mean, I think ICE came out and said they've arrested one person, they're arresting one person a month now. It's
for crossing the border.
Yeah, all the illegal bullshit. Unless they see somebody with a criminal record.
Well, it seems to me like it doesn't matter now because you just show up at the border, they process you and let you into the country anyway. Yeah. So why cross over?
They give you money.
Why risk drowning by swimming across the Rio Grande when all you have to do is walk into the air conditioned building and go, "I want to be America," and they let you in? Why risk the death when all you got to do is walk through the building?
There's a lot of bullshit with this.
It is. There is a lot of bullshit.
Look, I mean, of course, the media has stopped talking about it because if this would have been happening during Trump, there would have been all over the news. Look at the border. They
would have impeached him again for it.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. And now we're trying to impeach him again. The guy's been gone for 5 months now, and they're still trying to impeach him. Fools. All right.
Wait. Stop.
Yeah, there's talks of impeachment 3.0 coming.
Yeah. For what?
So that's what I'm telling you. The January 6th insurrection. They still want to drag that whole shit out again. Dude, right now, this should piss off everybody. Right now, they have 1,500 people outside of DC. 1,500 people in maximum security, dude. Some of them haven't been able to even see their attorneys. They're not letting them talk to their own attorneys, dude. And you ask yourself the question, well, what are they being charged with? Most of these, like Tim said, these are misdemeanors. Why are they still being held? And this is what the left always does, dude. They use any of their opposition, they jail their opposition. It is, and This is the modus operandus of the.
Did you hear
of the
what
left.
Bank of America did?
What?
Did you hear what Bank of America did? So Bank of America went into their records and they gave the government every single person that was in Washington, D.C. during the so-called riot on the Capitol, insurrection on the Capitol.
So if you
So
have
they
a
provided-
Visa or
yes,
debit
so
card
if you
and
used your credit card or your debit card in Washington, D.C. during that insurrection period of time, they turned their records over and provided it to the government. And they are going in, and the government's been going in and arresting all of those people saying that they were part of the Capitol insurrection.
Yeah.
I would
And
find
charging
that
them.
hard to believe. How,
Bank of America
just
did
because
it in
you were
January.
there doesn't mean you participated in
Doesn't
it.
matter. Bank of America went tens of thousands of people. Bank of America.
You know, when you sign and you accept whatever, that's probably in there. You know what I mean? Because they're counting this as domestic terrorism.
Yep.
So
Yep.
at that point, that goes to the Patriot Act. And
Yep. Bank of America.
this is
Specifically that bank
I'm shocked they haven't showed up to
came
our
out.
house.
They came out and claimed it. They came out and claimed it point blank.
So some Republicans argued that the reason they wanted them to have these hearings for the insurrection bullshit that they want to label it as domestic terrorism, what they said was, well, here's our opportunity to show the real evidence, to show that, hey, look, this video shows police officers allowing people in, moving guardrails, moving things out of the way, people looking around in the building and the police, talking to them. This wasn't what they were painting it. And in fact, the only people who were, who've been charged and who were instigating have been leftists. People who, John Sullivan, the guy who sold the fucking video, and they show him on the video, he was instigating the crowd. He's like, guys, we have to go and claim our freedoms. And meanwhile, he's a leftist. He's the same guy. We showed you guys the video where he goes in and he's talking to some reporter was it CNN? I forget from where, saying, we did it. Oh, and they were excited of what they did, about what they did. Sorry, let me mute my phone. They were excited about what they had done, but what had they done? They had convinced a bunch of people to go and create havoc. But if you looked at the rest of the videos, a lot of people were being reasonable. This was not your typical BLM riot or your typical Antifa riot. And a lot of people will say, oh, look at these riots. No. Look at the good people in these riots. That's what you should focus about. You only focus
I remember every time you talk about the quote unquote riots and these people being out of control, you showed a video of this old lady in I guess it was the house or whatever. And they had those little velvet ropes that have the walkway. She walked around the velvet rope to get in. I'm like, if you're a riot and you're ripping the place apart, you don't care about the velvet rope. She walked around the velvet rope this is ridiculous.
This is how you know this is fishy, okay? Because the minute this happened, right away, everybody had all the talk, insurrectionist, domestic terrorism, and they're all on point using the same rhetoric, okay? It's been like this for months. So what do? Like, again, it's a smear campaign like Nancy Pelosi. Say it enough, spread enough bullshit, enough lies where people believe it, because, yes, what they did was wrong. It was breaking and entering, if anything, But
I would
maybe
argue.
No. Maybe because you have to have passes to go in. There's rules to going into the house, okay? But they didn't burn it down. They didn't shoot anybody. They're trying to say they killed that officer that's already been deemed so many times that he had a fucking heart attack after the case, that he was not pummeled by a fucking fire hydrant. Like, it's getting old, because even when things come out, they're saying the complete opposite still. They keep saying it and people believe it. So obviously it's enough to get in these people's minds. They've triggered enough people. They've brainwashed them to where it's kind of like the Winter Soldier. Like, he's fine. But you say, like, the words in sequence, and he goes into the fucking killing mode. That's what this has been. People think that, it's a shitty analogy. It's exactly the truth, because you only need to say a couple words to fucking watch their eyes roll in the back of their head and fucking drool come out like they've been possessed. You say the word Donald Trump in front of them, they'll go from smiling to fucking having look like they have rabies, okay? Seriously.
So going along those lines, things trigger these people. They've installed people in power to do their bidding, right? And so these people say, well, defund the police, right? They clamored for defunding the police in all these cities. And some of the representatives obliged to the masses, calls to defund the police. So they started defunding the police, and you saw a lot of police officers leaving serving, they have been there for years, and they're getting up and leaving. So what happens across these cities? Dun, dun, dun. What do you think is going to fucking happen? Crime escalates, right? Oh. This crime skyrockets in these cities. And guess what now they're starting to do? All these cities that flirted with, let's defund the police and see what happens. They're being forced to, maybe this wasn't such a good idea. The narrative is unraveling,
right.
Folks. I want to
nope. You know what I say? What I say? Don't give him Nope. Don't give him any more money. You need to resign from office. You don't get to stay in office. You did this. Once you leave and put in new people, then you can start looking at funding things again, because this is bullshit. You should be held accountable for your actions. You sat there and you sacrificed everybody's good for the sake of trying to be a fucking social justice warrior, where you use the fucking case of bad policing to say that the whole fucking country's racist and everybody fucking believed it. Okay? That's fucking bullshit.
Right.
All right? So all this shit has just been, we're going to take money out of here and funnel it some other ways. And then we're going to cry for more money. This has been the biggest fucking theft of wealth I've ever seen. They've basically took money from the police, gave it to all these other programs, and then said, you know what? We got to spend more money on police now because of all the problems. But where do you take the money back from those other organizations that you ain't doing shit with? You know what I'm saying? Like, where's you're just making money? You basically been stealing, robbing Paul to pay Mary, and now the taxpayers get fucked by it. It's insanity.
The taxpayers always get messed.
Like you're
fucking insanity
to pay Mary.
I know, right?
I like how you bring in the apostles in the Bible. You mean Peter to pay Paul?
It's not Mary, by the way. It's Peter and Paul, but, whatever. It's PP. It's all PPs.
You rob Tony to go pay
it's all PPs.
Vinny. You know
it's all PPs. Remember, you're getting very acquainted with yours these past 18 months.
Boop. You know what I'm saying? But you see what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, no. You're making a lot of sense. You're making too much sense. Look,
it's ridiculous.
And the thing is that, you have what happens this week. You have at the George Floyd Memorial, the anniversary of his death. What happens, folks? It is poetic.
You got to play that video.
I thought I had it. The one that I had.
It's on our Instagram. Go on our Instagram. I posted it.
Let me
wait, no.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Play this video.
Watch this, Jerry.
There's a reporter at George Floyd Square in Minneapolis, talking about police reforms and all the good they're going to do. And then
the video shows
and then cue the video.
And cue the video. Okay.
Because you couldn't.
So wait, they've created a George Floyd Square.
I was just going to ask the same question.
Oh yeah, it's a Chaz.
Is that like the BLM?
No, it's like a Chaz.
On the road?
Dude, like if you're white, like you're not allowed to speak in there. They have rules to it, and they have people enforcing it. There was a guy that actually there was a video that happened. Guy in the middle of the night jumped out of his truck, took an axe, and destroyed half of it, and then they chased him off. The police we're looking for him.
I'm sorry,
right
wait.
now.
It's a back up. It is a what?
It's like a Chaz. You know what they did in
Chaz? Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's like their own little
autonomous zone.
Yeah, and the businesses are super pissed because they're getting robbed every day. Yeah.
But they're actually calling it George Floyd Square.
In time, at least according to the timeline that the White House and U.S. President Joe Biden had. They wanted this bill of comprehensive police reform to be. Just got to be careful with some gunshots. Excuse us. It sounds like gunshots. I'll let you know what this is. These seem to be gunshots.
It was a drive-by shooting in the middle of this. It's like, hold on, guys.
I like how people act surprised. It's like, what? I thought we got rid of the police. Why is this happening? Fucking idiots, bro. I'm glad that it's happening because they're fucking idiots.
The George Floyd Square, it looks to me like they took an intersection in the middle of downtown or whatever. In the middle of the intersection, they put up it looks like a black fist, right? With flowers and stuff all around the outside of it. That's what they're calling George Floyd
Oh no, that
Square?
thing like goes like a whole like block.
That was just the corner.
Yeah, that
of
was just
it?
the corner.
Okay,
of it.
all right.
Because that guy wasn't allowed in. You know what I mean?
He's
But see,
white. He's
it
white.
happened.
Well,
it
wait a
happened
minute. If
in
white
an
people
area.
aren't allowed in, the bullets aren't allowed out. So we just need to stop all
Well,
that.
see, here's the thing, Jeremy. See, what you don't understand is that only minorities there are allowed to carry guns because they're protecting themselves from the white man. This is their fucking stupid logic that these liberals use. There is no logic to this. In fact, listen to this bullshit. Because this is their autonomous zone, and we're gonna establish our own rules because we know better, and shots, and everybody's like, oh, who's gonna protect us now? Some social worker is gonna come and talk to the shooter and convince him otherwise. So Biden's nominee as director of the ATF was being questioned, right? Alcohol, tobacco, firearms.
Yes.
Still a useless fucking department in government. I don't understand what the three of those have anything to do with each other. This is just big government bullshit.
They're heavily regulated and taxed.
Mhm.
That's what they have to do with each other.
Yeah, exactly. But none of them have anything to do with each other. So why is it a big fucking department? Like you said, Jeremy, they're heavily taxed. They bring in money. They bring in money to the government. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah. They might as well just be an arm of the IRS because they tax the shit out of tobacco. They tax the shit out of alcohol, and they tax the shit out of
right.
Firearms. I mean, I paid a decent amount of tax when I bought my gun,
but that's just sales tax. Oh, wait, hold on. So it's got to be the regulated because they do tax the hell out of tobacco and they do tax the hell out of alcohol. But as far as I know, they don't tax out of the normal sales tax on firearms.
Yeah, I don't know much about it. I just know it's just more big government bullshit.
Yeah, it's
going back to this
regulation.
Biden nominee. So he's being asked questions, right? Because, the Republicans have to ask questions before they vote for, nominees. This has been the custom for centuries. So, they bring him in and they ask him, can you tell us what an assault weapon is?
Or assault rifle, yeah.
They say assault weapon.
No, they said assault weapon.
Assault weapon, okay.
Yeah. Because you got to keep in mind, this guy has called for legislation to ban assault weapons.
Wait, hold on.
When given the opportunity to define assault weapons, you'll see. I'm going to play it for you. What were you going to say?
Okay.
Yeah, I want to know how he answers that question.
You gotta let this all play out and then ask the questions.
All right, I'll ask a question when I'm done.
Let me show you.
What's an assault weapon?
Yeah, Senator, the bill to ban assault weapons is
what is your
dozens of
definition of
pages.
an
There's
assault
no way I could define an assault weapon.
You don't have any. You're going to run this agency, and you don't have a definition of assault weapon.
But I would be enforcing
I love this guy.
the definition that members
Yeah,
of
but you're
Congress
going to be
passed.
issuing rules and regulations. Just give me your definition.
I'll give you one definition that ATF
Give me your
currently
definition.
uses. One definition that ATF currently
Give me your definition.
I can give you one definition.
If you won't
that
answer
ATF
my
currently
question, how can I vote for you? I'm done, Mr. Chairman. I don't think I'm going to get an answer.
You have called for an assault weapons ban. I have a simple question for you. What is an assault weapon?
Senator, an assault weapon would be, in the context of the question you asked, what Congress defines it as.
So you're asking us to ban assault weapons. We have to write legislation. Can you tell me what is an assault weapon? How would you define it if you were the head of the ATF? How have you defined it over the last several years as your role as a gun control advocate?
Senator, if I'm confirmed as ATF director, my recollection is the only process by which ATF has weighed in is that I know there's a demand letter 3 program, which requires multiple reports, multiple sale reports on the southwestern border. And ATF in that program has defined an assault rifle as any semi-automatic rifle capable of accepting a detachable magazine above the caliber of .22, which would include a .223, which is, largely the AR-15 round.
So you believe
There it
that
is.
every weapon that takes a detachable magazine that can take a .22 round or .556 in military parlance should be defined as an assault weapon?
Let me clarify. What I believe I just said is any semi-automatic rifle.
Okay, any semi-automatic rifle.
What?
That's the definition. A detachable magazine that takes a 5.56 or 22 round should be defined as an assault weapon.
Senator,
or larger,
you asked me if ATF had used this term, and I was sharing with you my knowledge of a program in which ATF has defined this term, and it is in the Demand Letter 3 program, and that rifle is a semi-automatic rifle capable of accepting a detachable magazine with a round greater than a .22 caliber, and in those cases, firearms dealers on the southwest border are required to make a multiple sale report to ATF.
I'm amazed that that might be the definition of assault weapon. That would basically cover every single modern sporting rifle in America today. Let me put it this way. If I wanted to buy an assault weapon, and I walked into Walmart or Cabela's or some other firearm dealers, and I looked up on the wall where they were labeling their weapons, would there be a label on the wall for assault weapon?
I don't believe, Senator, and thank you for this question, that the firearms industry has used the term assault rifle in their marketing since there was a ban on it. It was after that that they changed their use of the term assault rifle to the modern sporting rifle.
Well, so I've been in Walmarts and I've been in Cabela's, and I've seen that you can find sections for pistols or handguns or for shotguns or for rifles, because those are actual kinds of firearms. I think our exchange here illustrates that there really is no such thing as an assault weapon. That is a term that was manufactured by liberal lawyers and pollsters in Washington to try to scare the American people into believing that the government should confiscate weapons that are wildly popular for millions of Americans to defend themselves and their families and their homes.
All right, so I let this play out because I wanted you to listen to it as much as was said, and I didn't want to take anything out of context. Now, Jeremy, as our resident arms dealer,
oh wow, okay,
holy shit, that's not true. That's not true. Alphabet soup or whatever you people are called out there nowadays.
Alphabet soup, alphabet soup. Not me. Our numbers went down really quick after that, so they stopped listening. Like, oh, they're harmless.
Now, listening to this guy talk, does he make you feel at ease as far as what he intends to do? Because I'll tell you this: when I listen to him, he sounds like somebody who's going to come after, regular citizens for having.
So you're talking about the nominee, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So he refuses to identify what he's going to do, right? And define what options are. Yeah. I mean, what can I say? He's.
I can't believe these people exist. Did you look at this guy? This guy looks like he's a step above somebody that
I don't care what he looks like. For me, it's what this guy represents.
Question.
And how eager the Democrats have become with, infringing folks. And I'm using that word, and it's a specific word because our Constitution is clear about the infringement of the citizen being able to defend themselves, not against their neighbor, not against a criminal, not against anything, not for hunting, defend themselves against a tyrannical government. That's why that's there.
Yeah. Yeah. And
period.
We've had people on this podcast in the past that have actually, asked the question, why do you need an AR-15 and why do you need an AK-47? And the only answer that I can give them is they've been brainwashed into thinking that an AR-15 and an AK-47 is different than any other gun out there that shoots the same bullet. All right. You can buy hunting rifles that take those exact same bullets as the AR-15 and the AK-47. There, you can go to Walmart, like the guy said, you can go to Walmart across the street from us. There's one less than a mile away from where I'm sitting right now. I can go in there and buy a gun that shoots the .223 Remington round, which is what an AR-15 shoots. And it has a detachable magazine, right? You can load 5, 10, 20, 30, as many, however many. And when you pull the trigger, one bullet comes out of the end of that gun, right? That rifle. That bullet is moving at however many thousands of feet per second out of that hunting rifle. You can go to some other store and buy an AR-15. You pull that trigger, one bullet comes out, and it's going the exact same feet per second as that hunting rifle. There is zero difference in that hunting rifle and that AR-15. The only difference is that the news media and the government have been pounding it into people's heads for the last 20 years about how dangerous AR-15s are. They're no more dangerous than any other gun out on the available to the public to buy. They look scary. I don't know why they look different. They're black. Oh my God, they're black. Ooh,
that's racist.
It's racist for you to hate AR-15s because they're black.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
It's good to be a gangster. That's why I need one.
Exactly.
Because it's damn it feels good.
And so there needs to be and to the people that were on our podcast and we talked through this. America needs to be educated on guns. They just plain do not know. They are ignorant about guns. The only thing they know about guns is what the media and the government has told them, and they are lies. Mm-hmm. They are just plain lies. As soon as somebody who's anti-gun, well, I shouldn't say that. There have been several instances where people who have reported themselves as being anti-gun, right? I know Steve Crowder has done this on his podcast, and I know a couple of people that have done that. They've taken people who they consider themselves anti-guns. They're like, here's the deal. We want to take you, we'll pay for the whole thing. We want to take you out to a shooting range. We're going to give you a couple of guns to shoot for the first time because they've never shot a gun in their life. They'll take them out to the shooting range, and they say, we're gonna, we'll buy lunch. We'll go out to the shooting range. We'll let you shoot a couple of these guns, blah, 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 right? And time after time, they take these people out there and they show them, this is the AR-15. Oh, I'm scared. And they hold it and they shoot it. And they're like, oh, well, this is actually kind of fun. Right? They're out there shooting at targets. They're shooting at whatever. And they're like, oh, this is kind of fun.
So to your point, people need to be more educated about guns. And there's one of the big reasons. So again, it's about regions, right? You go to the Northeast, where most of the Northeast is you can't get a gun for shit. You know what I mean? So they all feel that guns are the worst because all you hear is about gun violence in shitty neighborhoods. Plain and simple. That's all you see on the news. Shitty neighborhood gets shot up again. We need to get guns off the street, you see, because they're all shooting at each other. No, I mean, criminals are always going to shoot each other. You know what I mean? That's the way it works.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But you can't defend yourself if they decide to come into your house. That's the difference. So right away, you're like, oh, gun's bad. Give me a handgun because that's all I need. Well, yeah. Maybe in home defense, if you're using it straight for your house, you keep an AR next to your bed or you keep a handgun. What is more feasible? Well, probably a handgun. You know what I mean?
Well,
but what I'm saying is, but then you go to Texas, you go to Arizona, Oklahoma, places where guns are more, prevalent, whatever. And everybody has a different idea about guns, gun safety, what guns are really used for. Nobody says like, I can't wait to go shoot somebody in the street. You know what I mean? You don't got no hillbilly talk about shooting people. They talk about shooting deer and I got them in my house and I collect guns. They don't talk about, I'm going to go shoot up schools and people and they don't do that shit. That's why gun violence is low in those areas.
On the ignorance, and to elaborate on what you were saying, Tim, there was a point in time, when, and I've seen videos of this, kid goes to school with a rifle because he's going to go shooting with his father after school. He puts his gun, his rifle in the locker. And, nowadays you look at it, people are like, oh my God, like this kid, but it's like Jeremy says, it's the ignorance. But see, there was a transition that happened because at that time, sex education in schools was like, wait, what? No, what? Kids shouldn't even be thinking about sex. No, that's not. But there was a transition that happened because teachers said, well, they're going to have sex anyways. Might as well teach them how to do it the right way. these same people
Doggy
won't
style.
won't apply the same logic when it comes to guns, right? Especially in these bad neighborhoods, right, where you have, kids who are this guy. No, he's fucking. He can't be serious. He's stuck on doggy style. That's it. So you have people who are in the, like Tim says, in the Northeast who are there's violence and people look at the guns because they're not exposed to the guns, right? And they don't know about it. But if you ask them, well, you know what? These kids are going to find a gun. Might as well teach them how to use it. Oh, what? That's so weird. But how do you apply that same logic to sex? And you can't apply that logic to guns, right? Whereas, sex, you might end up with a kid. The other one, you're going to lose a kid.
That's I never thought about it that way. Because if you think about it, they start telling all these kids, it's okay to basically have sex. Don't listen to what your parents say. Go fuck. You know what I mean? Here's a condom. This is how you put it on your penis. This is what a fucking dental dam is, whatever that you shove in.
Dental dam.
Yeah.
Don't do that, kids. I mean? Don't do that.
No, but they made it seem like it's okay. Like, yeah, go fuck. No big deal.
Yeah, because the parents are also now telling their kids, don't worry about it. You can get an abortion.
Right. So it's kind of interesting because we were like one of the first generations of getting that sex ed in the like it started with, our older, maybe like Jeremy's age, my sister, because they're about the same age, then my brother, then us. So now you got 3-4 generations of people that understood like, oh, sex is nothing. Fuck it. Now they're having kids. Now they're telling their kids, fuck, have sex. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you have look how many kids are having kids now. I mean, it's only getting worse. And look at what is, they're the ones burning the fucking streets.
Laura jumped in the truck. Laura jumped in the truck one Wednesday night from gymnastics. And she said, I said, well, how was gymnastics? And she says, well, it was interesting. I said, it was. And she says, yeah, I got in an argument about abortion. I was like, what? Now, she's 11, right? I was like, you're 11. I go, what are you talking about? You got in an argument about abortion. And she says, another girl who's new, just moved here from Ohio with her family. She's 13 and she's dating a 16-year-old. This is important. Okay. I'm telling you.
God.
So 13 years old dating a 16-year-old. And she brings up somehow abortion comes up in the conversation. And she says, yeah, abortion. If you don't want a baby, you just go and abort it. You don't need to worry about sex. You don't need to worry about sex and protection because if you get pregnant, you just abort it. It's totally okay. And Laura looks at her and goes, no, it is not. There's nothing okay about abortion. And here's again, 11-year-old, obviously.
You're brainwashing your 11-year-old.
Right. I'm brainwashing my 11-year-old to not be a whore and to keep her legs closed so she's not getting pregnant and fucking everything that walks. Because apparently at 11, 12, and 13-year-old, that's all they can
takes
do.
a look
all
at
those
her.
guns that somebody has.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
To your guys' point, though, you are in gymnastics. You are training at a competition level of gymnastics, and abortion is a conversation that you're having at 11, 12, 13 years old. What in God's green earth is being educated and taught to these kids? And I told Laura, I said, Laura, you are 100% correct. 1, 2, shame on her parents. What shitty parents that child has. How sad for that kid to have such horrible parenting.
So to that point of abortion, and we talk. Did you see that crazy video of that
woman
that's crying?
Yeah.
She's crying
that
she was pregnant, and she goes, "Nah, I'm just kidding." And she pours a fucking glass of wine.
Yeah,
and she's like, "I'm the shit that conservatives hate."
I already made my appointment. She goes, "I already made my appointment."
I'm like, who did she delete? She actually wound up deleting that. But I'm like, what is wrong with people?
Yeah.
Like, it used to be like, you didn't want to tell people you have an abortion because, you fucked up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You fucked up and you don't want everybody to shame you for fucking up. Now it's like, if you have a kid, you fucked up. Wait, you married the guy and you're having a family? You fucked up. You get an abortion? High five. And we did that whole thing about celebrating in Brazil, Argentina, and all that. This is
disgusting.
This is the mentality. Look, I'm okay with, I used to be like, fuck it, whatever. It's their choice. They got to live with it. But now I'm like, there's a difference. They're using this as their birth control. Like, I got knocked up. No.
And to that point, I don't know, but how much does an abortion cost?
You go to Planned Parenthood, you get it for free.
Planned Parenthood does abortions for free.
I don't know.
They get funding.
I'm
sure they get funding. Yeah, that's what.
I think. I do think. I think I overheard. I do know somebody who got pregnant and did it, and I want to say and it's been a long time, a long time. And I want to say at the time it was like almost $300. And I don't know
I remember
how it's evolved over the years.
Get the day after pill.
Yeah,
for $10 down at Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, I think I was going to say I do think that Planned Parenthood has programs now that, depending on your circumstances, you don't pay for it.
All right, so let's just. All right, I remember that it being a theme in movies in the past where the girl pretends that she's pregnant because she can get $500 from the guy to pretend she got it right. So she gets $500 from the guy. He drops her off at the abortion clinic. She walks around the corner and gets an ice cream, and then comes back and gets in the car an hour later going, okay, I aborted, I had my abortion, and they move on with their lives. It's like, I remember that being a theme in movies in the past.
Okay.
So I guess if
I
Planned
think you got
Parenthood's
Fast
doing
Times
it
at
free
Ridgemont High
now,
wrong. I think you got that wrong. She actually went in and got the abortion, and her brother picked her up after because he saw her not going into the bowling
That's
alley.
actually the pool scene when he sees her naked walking around, and then he wakes up daydreaming. Sorry.
Oh
He
my
brought that
God, you
movie.
guys are not right.
Okay, hold on.
so
So-
lost right now.
No, hold on. Now, I do want to say something about this because, okay, so look, what is wrong with people? Tim's question. This has been their plan all along, Tim. This is not coincidental. The deterioration of society, the breaking down of the nuclear family. See, when people are busy with their family, they're not thinking about, oh, how can I start the next revolution and this and that, and you know what I mean, like this nonsense, this bullshit. But it's all interconnected, because the second that you remove the important things from somebody and say, well, you know what, you don't have to have a family. That's not a purpose. You're a career-driven girl. You go, girl. You're selling these lies to people. And so again, we've said it over and over again. When people start believing in certain things, they don't just not believe in nothing. They'll believe in anything. And that's what's happening in our society today. You have people who are activists and who are pursuing this and pursuing that. But I think it's to the detriment of future generations. And we're seeing it. We are experiencing it. I hope that we make a turn somehow, and that 100 years from today, people listen to this podcast and are like, oh, they were so wrong. I fear that they'll turn it on and be like, wow, see, they knew it was coming, and they did nothing about it. And I think that's, we're at a pivotal point right now. We're at a crossroads in this country. What are we going to do? And it scares me to think, and I don't have kids, but imagine people who do have kids, who are having kids, and what future you're leaving your kids and your kids' kids. You know what I mean? Like this is scary. And this experiment of America, and I don't know how long it can last.
It's scary. And to your point, I mean, all my life, my adult life, even as a kid, I never really liked children, right? They always annoyed me, and I just didn't have the patience. But as I've gotten older and I started seeing all these really shitty parents and these really shitty behaved kids, I made me realize I didn't want kids. I didn't want my kids being around them. I didn't want to deal with a potential mother that is okay with babying the kids, because I'm a firm believer. Yeah, I talk a lot of shit and whatnot, but I know I'm a very polite, most of the time polite person. I understand with certain people not to curse around them. You open the doors for people. You treat people with respect. I talk shit to my friends, but random people, I just don't go up there like, oh, you know what I mean? But these kids have no respect for nobody. They see somebody walking in the store, they let the door close on you. You know what I mean? They see an older lady crossing the street with groceries. They don't even offer to help her. They don't even want to, now, like in New York, the older always say, hey, you got to go shovel the neighbor's house. They were, oh, okay, yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, you might have not been okay with it. You're like, but you did it because you realize they can't do that. These kids will not do that now without not getting paid. They will not do anything for anybody unless it benefits themselves. That is a very selfish generation. Yes, I am selfish towards myself, but when it comes to giving to people that I love, I'm always there for them. I give time. I'll help them with money, whatever.
And the sad part is there are more and more people like you that would make a quality child, a quality adult that are not having kids. And because of that, we're only feeding more into this deterioration because you're not stepping up and having kids.
Right, but to your point, I would pick a really shitty partner because I don't go for what would be a good mom. I'd be what would be a good fuck. There's a difference. So that's where I would produce one of those shithead kids. No, I would wind up producing one of those shithead kids because of
Heidi's face expressions are like, yeah, I lost hope for you.
But let's be real. Like, I can safely admit, like the girls that I'm attracted to,
take the wheel.
Probably wouldn't make good moms. They wouldn't.
Oh, and how many of them listen? Way to go!
Don't listen to the show.
Kidding.
None of them.
So look, getting back to the conversation, and we sidetracked really off because I did want to mention some of Joe Biden's fucking gaffes this week, and it's along these lines of the deterioration of society. We've elected a pedophile to the office. I don't know how else to put it, dude. This guy is a weirdo. He's fucking weird. Joe Biden is giving a speech this week. And in a bizarre moment of pedo-like behavior, bro, I don't know how else to explain it. I'm going to let you watch this shit. He looks at a little girl in the audience, the daughter of a veteran who is there with his little girl, and listen to this shit. Now, I try to listen to this with an open mind, and I'm thinking, well, maybe, you know what I mean? Like, maybe Biden is just nice with kids. This is fucking weird.
On.
You don't
So
say
before
this
you-
shit.
Before you show the video, I could just imagine from your buildup, Biden's up there giving his speech. I'm gonna damn.
Basically, look at his
That's
fucking.
basically what happened.
Look at his eyes, dude. Look at his fucking creepy weirdo eyes. If this had been
All
Trump,
right, play the video.
if this had been Trump, I guarantee you, the news media would have destroyed him. Watch this.
You know why this wouldn't have been Trump? Because Trump doesn't look at little kids.
I'm just saying. If Trump would have done this shit.
We'll call Virginia home. And I'm especially honored to share the stage with Brittany and Jordan and Nathan and Margaret Catherine. I love those barrettes in her hair, man. I tell you what, and look at her. She looks like she's 19 years old, sitting there with her, like a little lady with her legs crossed.
Oh my God.
Brittany, you're doing triple duty. As a veteran, a military spouse.
I want you to hear this again because again, he's talking about a little girl that looks like she's 19.
How old is she? No, how old is? Do you have any idea how old she actually is? In real
I'm
life?
assuming she's a little girl because that's the only people he likes to pay attention to. She's probably I don't know how old she is, but he says So listen to this again, and again, folks. I try to listen to this with an open mind, but this is fucking creep behavior.
I tell you what, and look at her. She looks like she's 19 years old, sitting there with her, like a little lady with her legs crossed. Brittany, you're doing triple duty. As a veteran.
This guy's sick. He's fucking weird.
What?
He's disgusting.
So listen to what he said. She had to be a younger kid because she's like, oh, look at you. You look 19 with your legs crossed, but she's not 19.
Right.
He's
weird.
He's sick.
He's a dirty old man.
He is a dirty old man.
He'll find out he was sitting next to Bill Gates on Epstein Island.
No, but what I get upset about, let's just say that Biden is, he's just a sweet old whatever, grandpa, whatever. The media would not give him a pass. The media would have asked him, Joe, are you a pedophile? Like they asked Trump. Trump, are you racist? Joe, are you a pedophile? That's if you ask Jeremy, what question would I ask Biden? That's the question.
Are you a pedophile? So to your point, that is exactly why they propped him up there to run. Because they can paint him, he's not creepy. He's just a nice grandpa. So when people go, look, dude, the way he acts like kids, and people are like, well, my grandfather shows me. Yeah, if your grandfather gives you a fucking hug, that's one thing. But when it's a totally random stranger grabbing somebody else's kid that you don't know, that's fucking weird.
Digit, you got to worry about it.
But he's got that likable name and face and everything.
I don't like him.
It's a fucking weirdo.
You know what I'm saying? No, but they try to prop him up at it.
I keep seeing these videos. People will say, well, no, that's how he is. I mean, every week there's a video of this guy. The last one before this one that I played last week was him freaking kissing a little kid, at a funeral.
What?
Yeah.
In the fucking mouth. It's like, dude, that's sick. You're fucking disgusting. You're a nasty old man. And nobody's saying anything because, well, that's just Uncle Joe. That's just, Fuck out of here. Sick man. Needs to be in jail.
Yeah, he's a sick bird.
Okay.
Why is he still? Hey, I have a question.
Exactly. Why hasn't he had a stroke yet?
Well, so along those lines, why hasn't he had a stroke? But the bigger question is, where's Kamala?
She's in the back giving blowjobs.
She's meeting with
have you guys
rappers.
Heard anything?
So she's been real quiet ever since everyone's like, is she going to give a press conference or ever go down to the border? You know what I mean? Like they're trying to, they can only do so much to hide this crap because they're like, oh, she shook the Korean the moon.
Japanese?
The Korean PM.
South Korean.
Moon.
South Korean.
Yeah, President Moon, right? She shook his hand and then wiped it in her pants, and everybody was like, what the fuck? That's an ultimate sign of disrespect, and we haven't seen her since. Because they were like, God forbid Trump or Pence would have did that shit. They would have been all over that shit. But she did it. What? That's a sign of disrespect.
Did you see that, Jeremy?
I did not. No,
she shakes it.
I did hear about it.
Clear as day. It's like, you know how when you do something and you just like wipe your hand, that's exactly what she did. Right after she shook his hand, she was like, I think his hand was probably sweaty. He was probably nervous around it.
Yeah, I remember.
He was like, I wonder what my turn is.
He's like, I heard you swallow really good.
I remember when there was a video of Bush, George W. Bush, the second president.
Yeah,
the dum-dum.
Sure, whatever you want to call him. There was a line of freshman senators that had representatives who had just come in, and Barack Obama was one of them. And they show him, right? They show a video of him. He's he walks up to each. They're all in a line. He walks up. He shakes each one of their hands. Says, "Hey, congratulations, welcome to the the government or whatever." He gets down to the end. Obama's at the end. He shakes his hand. Says, he turns to his assistant, and the assistant pours the hand sanitizer in his hand, and they walk away. And I remember them, the media at the time, or the media, I think it was afterwards. They're like, "Oh, he can't even shake a black person's hand without having to clean it." It's like, no, assholes. He just shook 20 different people's hands.
Right.
And he's washing his hands when he's done.
What are they telling you to do with COVID?
Racist?
What are they telling you now to do with COVID?
Exactly.
Put that shit all over you, baby.
Way before COVID,
well, I know, but think about it.
Yeah. I just like, really? This is what you're gonna, this is the hill you're gonna die on. This is the battle you're gonna fight.
Dude,
Exactly.
but they do every time and they win because it's really easy to zoom right in and paint the narrative like, oh, he shook Obama's hand and he just did it. But they didn't tell you that, oh, he just shook 40 other people's hands. And if you ask somebody, if you just shook 40 people's hands and, wouldn't you want, like, and you couldn't watch it? Like,
right. And let's face
you
it,
don't know where anybody's hands have been. Like, my hands have been down my pants the entire time and I just touched Jeremy.
Jesus.
Yeah. So you figure the average age of a president has got to be what, 60s? Yeah. High 60s, right?
Yep.
People, when you get older, you got to be a little more careful about.
I don't want to catch the Rona.
Well, you got to be a little more careful about that, right? Because diseases can kill you then. So I don't know. I
see people do it all the time. I never take offense to it. I'm like, okay, maybe a little crazy because like you think like everything's going to kill you like this even before COVID. But I'm like, I get it. I'm a little bit of a germaphobe, but like I don't use hand sanitizer. I'm the asshole that eats food off the table when it falls on. I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
But I get it. But like to sit there and
Jeremy
paint
likes
pictures,
doorknobs.
But this is like to paint pictures of everything being
Walmart
so
bathroom
insulting
doorknobs.
in this. It's like stop. But what she did was straight up like,
say that.
man, at least wait and turn away. You know what I'm saying? Before you like, she literally shook his hand and went like this, like instant shake and wiped the hand. Like,
does she have a rag or something in there?
no, she wiped it on her pants, her $1,000 pantsuit. Like, come on.
Well, maybe
show a little respect.
Well,
like,
maybe the guy a little clammy.
dude, don't get me wrong. Every time I shake somebody's hand and it's like that, I'm like, and like I keep a straight face and I turn around, I make that face like this. But I do it slide.
You're like, oh, let me get my wallet out of my back pocket here.
Yeah,
Don't
it's like,
do
when you
that.
gotta adjust. It's like, when you gotta adjust, you can't just go all in. You gotta like, fake it till you make it.
I don't want that.
Or like when you got a hard on in fucking school and like they ask you to go in front of the class and like you're like, oh no, you got to do the quick like tuck it under the underwear band. Oh yeah,
Demonetized.
oh yeah. I wish we would make it.
God help me.
All right,
But
folks.
I mean, not to digress. I know you got more to talk
No,
about.
I think that's all. We're gonna leave it there. I mean, we've gone an hour and 30 minutes now.
I got something for you.
Uh-oh.
Again, if you are innocent, would you spend millions of dollars to convince yourself you're innocent?
To convince myself that I'm innocent?
Oh, you know, and people that you're innocent. If you know you're innocent because all the facts are out there and say you're innocent.
I don't know, because I don't give a fuck what other people think.
Right. So
God, that's
why
true.
would all of a sudden, after a judge in Georgia ordered the absentee ballots to be assessed, that all of a sudden now, all of a sudden, they sent like 100 lawyers down to Georgia and they actually, you know, they're stopping, you know, like to, they have a lawsuit against it.
They're hiding something.
If you're so fucking innocent and there was the safest election ever, let it fucking go. And then when you're done, you can fucking teabag everybody and be like, yeah. That's how I look at it. If you're guilty and you act like guilty people act like this, let it fucking go. But then now HR 1 again is all of a sudden, we got to get that through. We got to get that through. We got to get that through. We got to get this through. Man, they can't kill the filibuster, right? And they're going to talk about doing that now after this January 6th thing. They can't pass this fucking voting bill because, and they're not going to be able to pass gun control. They're going to filibuster the shit out of all three of them. And that means they ain't going to get no Supreme Court justices either. Because first you got to vote, and they ain't going to get D.C. as a state. And all they got to do is hold this shit up for another year because it's been 6 months, and they haven't got a goddamn thing done. They impeached the president for a second time. That's it. That's all they did.
The not president? They impeached the not president?
And they caused inflation. That's it. But anyway.
You did bring a good point on the Georgia thing, and I did want to mention just the one thing on that. So they're doing a somewhat of an audit out there, and I think this week, none of the major news media is reporting this. By the way, they found 30,000 unfolded ballots. And if you try to
unfolded mail-in ballots.
Yes, yeah, and what's crazy about this is that social media, everybody's suppressing this information. The only place, like, do this test yourself, folks. Go right now, go to Google and search 30,000 unfolded ballots in Georgia. Google will not give you those results. Go to DuckDuckGo, right? I'm not kidding with you. So none of the major news media is covering this. What has been revealed this week. So 6 signed affidavits from veteran election officials. They're all saying 30,000 fake ballots. And so how did they identify them? None of them were folded, right? Well, and so either they get sent folded, right? Because they have to be sent on, or they get returned back folded, right? So there's 2 opportunities there for these things to be folded at. The fact that they just show up and there's 30,000 and 97% of those are for Biden. And they did a percentage of them. They did an analysis on 950 military ballots, right? Those are military ballots that get sent in. They found 100% of those, of the 950, a little batch that they took as a sample, 100% of those were for Biden. So that's a statistical
improbability.
Not impossibility, improbability, right? Because the chances of that happening, it's not impossible, but the chances of it happening are unlikely to none, right? So to me, Biden had a colossal failure in Georgia. Trump won. And one thing I love seeing over the weekend or over this past few days, with in baseball, the Yankees game. I don't know if you saw this.
Oh, Tim. They kicked them out. They kicked them out of the stadium?
Yeah, they did. They did.
Oh, yeah.
So there was this fan, a couple of fans, they waved a big old Trump won Save America banner. Oh, it was huge. And the crowd goes crazy. They loved it. But, I think this is what these audits are revealing. This is not stopped. And I think that's why the Democrats are panicking right now. And like Tim says, just hold the ground, hold for another year, and we can freaking put a stop to this. And I'm with you, Tim. I agree.
And to that point, they are scared shitless because now, as all these audits are happening and things are coming out and they're losing in the courts and people going, well, you didn't win all these. They never lost a case. They just said there's been no precedence for us to take the case. A lot of it they say is moot, right? So they don't say you lost. They just didn't accept the case.
Why did the courts have to get involved in this? Isn't it up to the legislature to run their own elections? And
I think it's
if they decide that
local courts, right? The state courts that are
Yeah, it's
Right,
state
but
courts.
Why do they need to be involved?
Again, I don't know law, so you would have to go look that up. But everything is intertwined. You can't just it's checks and balances. You can't say I'm just going to audit everything. You have to go through.
Why not?
Legal.
If you're responsible for the election in your state,
that you have to,
and you feel as though you need to do an audit, you do an audit.
Right, but this kind
and
of
if it
audit
changes the results, then you pull the person that didn't get elected and you put the right person in.
So they did their audit. So now they're saying we want to do a full forensic audit. So at that point, they put enough evidence from enough affidavits and enough sworn testimonies to go to the court and say, look, we want to do a full forensic thing based on XYZ. Here's the evidence. And the judge said, okay. And then
I guess I don't understand why a judge is involved.
Because somebody sues and says it's against the law that you're doing this. And they're saying, no, it's not. So now who interprets the law? The courts. If the legislature says I'm going to do something and, we passed it, and they go, wait, time out. This violates Statute 1, Section B, Paragraph 2. And they take it to the judge and he sees, oh, yeah, that really does, because based on what you said. That's why. But that's how laws work. Somebody writes them, somebody has to interpret them when somebody challenges it. And that's what's happening. So now, all of it's unfolding. New Hampshire, they had their major fucking findings over there, and they all said, yeah, there was fraud here, right? In Pennsylvania, in their local elections, again, we talked about it last week, but now Dominion even came and said, oh, yeah, they did something wrong and blah, blah, blah. And, but don't worry, in the primaries, we'll give you everything for free this year. And they're like, no, the DA is apparently getting involved now. They're like, this is...
Oh, yeah, they have to give it to you for free so you continue to use their cheating
even the Democrats,
devices.
so even Democrats were getting ballots with only Republicans. And even they were like, wait a minute, something's really wrong here. These machines are not good.
Right.
So this is blowing up big time.
Right.
And again, it's all unraveling.
And people like to bitch and moan about, well, why are you doing this? Why are you wasting money? Why are you doing this? Because we're proving that the process that we're using to elect the most powerful person in the world does not work. It is broken and it needs to be fixed before anybody is elected ever again.
Before we get another pedophile in the office. Okay.
And to that point, real quick, sports. We care more about instant replay at the end of a football game to determine the outcome. But we say that the election doesn't need that kind of level of scrutiny because the people running it are okay. Everything is subject to error and prone to error. So why not allow full forensic audits to make sure I think every election should be like this, and it should be done quickly, or say everything has watermark ballot, all this crap. Like there's ways to ensure a very secure election because they do that all around the world. Okay. We're one of the only countries that actually don't have secure elections that people don't like to avoid.
Well, it's because they've been cheating for so long. They like it that way.
But on that note, funniness. Funny. I want to see people falling down because that shit cracked me up last week.
I don't have none of that. What I do have is, Jeremy, is this true?
All right, play it.
To my ever-loving wife, during the last year, I have attempted to make love to you 365 times. I succeeded 36 times. This averages once every 10 days. And the following is a list of reasons why I did not succeed. It's too hot.
Yes, it's true.
Times. It's too cold. 3 times. I'm too tired. 19 times. It's too late. 16 times. It's too early. 9 times. Pretending to sleep. 35 times. I'm not in the mood. 21 times. Mind my hair. 28 times. Is that all you think about? 83 times.
So to answer your question, Nelson, yes, that is right.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious, bro.
You know what? He forgot headaches. He forgot headaches, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stop me when I'm lying.
You're not lying.
I tried to have sex with you 365 times this year and only succeeded 36.
All right, that's all I had. I'm going to leave it there. So before we close it out, though, this is going to be a long weekend. So just want to say, don't lose sight of the significance, the meaning that Memorial Day is.
Barbecues?
Take some time to observe the day with, family, visiting cemeteries or memorials, holding family gatherings, and maybe attending some parades across the nation to remember the fallen.
Wait, so it's not 4th of July, by the way. So are we allowed to get together because the mask mandate is gone?
We're all vaccinated, so
we're all vaccinated, right?
Yes. We're not wearing masks, are we? Of course we're vaccinated.
Go out, celebrate, get drunk, have fun, give a salute to your soldiers, shake their hands. Be mindful when you see somebody weeping that they could have lost somebody. Right?
This is Memorial Day to honor the men and women that died for your freedoms.
440.
Not for the ones that have served. They are for the ones that have died for your freedoms while serving.
Yep. Remember, freedom isn't free. We'll leave it there. Thank you all for joining us on this episode of The Salty Show. Find us on some of the social media platforms. Give us a follow, hit the like button, and share some of the content. And we will catch you all next time. Adios.
Guten Tag.
See ya.
Wash your hands. Wash your ass.
Not in that order.